What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fire and Ferment. I'm Zach, and today I've got something really special for you. I'm gonna be smoking up two different chickens side by side. One is a pasture-raised small farm chicken that I got from my buddy Luke's 5-acre farm. If you haven't been to his channel before, why don't you go ahead and click on that link I've shared below, check out his channel, and give him a subscribe. The other one is just the cheapest store-bought chicken I could find. In true science experiment form, we're gonna be smoking both of these up the exact same way. The trim is gonna be the same, the rubs are gonna be the same, the smoke is going to be the exact same. And then we're going to compare the two side by side just to see if the quality and the flavor of a pasture-raised chicken really makes a difference when smoked low and slow. Let's get into it. All right, so this chicken here is probably one of the best quality chickens you can find. It comes from 5-acre Farm. It's pasture-raised, small farm. I know the guy personally who raised and butchered this chicken. So thank you, Luke, for the chicken. This is about an 8-pound chicken. It's a big one. A lot of meat here and hopefully a lot of flavor. So let's open this up. So whole chickens have really pretty minimal trimming. We've got the neck here, which we're gonna remove. This neck is full of flavor and collagen that we can throw in the freezer later on this winter when I wanna make stock. This is gonna be perfect to render out that collagen for some good homemade stock. So we'll hang on to this. Other than that, trimming this chicken is really pretty simple. We just need to look for any loose hanging skin, as that stuff isn't gonna crisp up very well, and we're all about a crispy crust. And this chicken actually looks pretty good. I don't really see any skin that needs to be trimmed off. If that skin's laying off the side of the chicken, it's not gonna crisp up very well in the smoker. It's just gonna be rubbery and a mouthful of regret. All right, so this next one is just a basic store-bought chicken from Heritage Farms. It's only about 6.5 pounds compared to the 8-pound bird from 5-acre Farm. This 6.5 pounder was the biggest one I could find in my store. So that's one major difference right off the bat, is this one's quite a bit smaller. Because these are different sizes, they're probably gonna smoke up just a little bit differently. So we'll see if we can try to keep them even while we're cooking them. So any loose hanging skin here, you can see right here. We're just gonna take that right off. That does not need to be there. It's not gonna do anything for us. So we'll take that extra skin off. And this one also came with the neck. We're gonna take that right off. And again, we'll save this for stock. This little guy right here, this is the base of the spine. This is called the Parson's nose. And we'll skim that right off. It doesn't really do anything for us, so that's gonna go into the stockpile. So you can see we got all that extra skin off. We just want that skin that overlies the meat because that's gonna crisp up really well. Nothing hanging off the edges. So the next thing that's of utmost importance here is we wanna pat these birds dry. All this excess water content on the outside of these birds, it's really not gonna do us any favors when we're trying to crisp up the skin. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do that's gonna help us get that crispy skin is we're gonna hit the outside with some Pam spray. This is gonna serve as a good binder for our rub, but when the smoker gets real hot, that oil on the skin is gonna really help everything crisp up, almost like it's frying on the outside. Just a little trick. Now my go-to rub for chicken is super simple but packs a punch. SPG. This stands for salt, pepper, garlic. It's 2 parts coarse black pepper, 1 part diamond crystal kosher salt, and 1/2 part granulated garlic. That's it. No sugar, no complicated spices. Just seasoning that's gonna let the smoke and the chicken shine. You could honestly use whatever rub you want. You just gotta be careful with a lot of these pre-made rubs you can get at your grocery store, as a lot of these rubs have sugar in them which can burn in the smoker. Also, chicken is an awesome base for herbs like sage, rosemary, thyme, as well as garlic flavors. A lot of pre-made poultry rubs already have those herbs in them, but similar to sugar, those herbs can also burn up in the smoker. And we're not gonna neglect those flavors on these chickens, but we'll add them at the end of the cook with some of my herb-infused ghee. I've done a video on this before. linked in the description below, so check out that video next. Stick around to the end of the video to see how we end up using this stuff. It really is kind of my secret weapon with chicken. It's not only gonna infuse a lot of that herby, buttery, garlicky flavors, but it's also gonna help crisp up that chicken skin. And in my opinion, that crust of smoked chicken is probably the best part of the chicken when it's done well. And as I like to say, in crust we trust. All right, so we're just gonna hit these chickens liberally with our SPG rub. Making sure every square inch of these chickens is coated. Inside and out. This rub is really gonna help enhance the smoky flavor of the chicken without overpowering the chicken's natural taste. Gotta get the inside of this chicken as well. And that looks just about perfect to me. So one thing that jumps out to me, look how healthy and plump this 5 Acre Farm chicken looks. Just looks like it was well fed, well taken care of. Contrast that with this chicken. I mean, the way it's just laying there all splayed out, it kind of just looks sick. Let's fire up the pit. This video is brought to you by our sponsor, Woodchuck Firewood. Woodchuck has all kinds of different wood. They're based out of Valley Center, Kansas, but they ship their wood all over the country. If you're on the lookout for wood splits that you need for your barbecue, your fire pit, or your fireplace, Woodchuck Firewood is your one-stop shop. Type in the link below into your browser to access their website and place an order, and use code 10OFF at checkout to get 10% off your order. And tell them that Fire and Ferment sent you over, and they'll take good care of you.
I'm smoking these in my offset smoker using post oak wood. The temp will be between 200 and 225 degrees to start, low and slow. Here's why that matters. When barbecuing, the lower the temp, the more smoke flavor you get to apply. Because the meat heats slowly, it can soak up all that delicious smoke. So let's get these chickens on.
So I've noticed my smoker runs just a little bit hotter towards the stack side. So that's why I put the bigger bird on this side. It's gonna be able to handle the heat just a little bit more. Put the smaller one over here towards the firebox, mainly because my smoker is just a little cooler on this side. I think that has to do with this baffle plate right here. As my firebox burns, all of that heat gets pushed out and comes up here towards the stack. So we're really gonna be watching these breasts right here just to make sure they don't get too crispy or burned. And so we'll pay special close attention to this bird right here. And really guys, it's not a bad exercise to really get to know your smoker. The more you cook on your smoker, the more you're gonna get to know what the hot spots are and the cool spots. The better you know your cooker, the better the food that you're gonna crank out. So I've got my smoker going 200 to 225. We're gonna maintain our fire during that time, and I'm gonna check back in on these chickens in about 45 minutes. So I noticed my firebox is getting a little bit rusty right here, and that can happen with time, especially if you have a lot of moisture in the air or a big rain. All we need to do is just hit this with some PAM spray. So we hit that whole firebox, and what ends up happening is that hot metal hits that oil and it creates a protective covering on the outside. This is called polymerization. That protective covering is gonna help prevent rust moving forward. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that cook chamber as well.
So we just want to maintain our temps by periodically adding splits of wood. We're going to keep good airflow through our smoker, which allows a nice clean fire with thin blue smoke, which imparts a good sweet smoke flavor onto our chickens. It's been 45 minutes now, so we'll take a look.
Okay, 45 minutes in. The smell is already amazing. That skin's starting to develop some color, which means that smoke is absorbing and working its magic. And we're gonna check back in another 45 minutes. Once the meat hits between 120 and 140 degrees internal temp, it actually stops taking on smoke flavor. Since chicken is a pretty short cook, we have to maximize smoke absorption as much as we can early on. That's why we start low between 200 and 225 for phase 1. What a beautiful day. Seriously guys, I absolutely love this. It's like 70 degrees out here, not a cloud in the sky. College football's on, and we're rolling smoke. This is for sure my favorite kind of day. All right, so another 45 minutes has passed. These birds have been on for about an hour and a half total. Let's take a look. Yeah, so much color that's being laid down on these birds. You can see that red color right there. That red color is pure smoke flavor. And then I can tell that this bark is also starting to set. That black pepper and that garlic is really starting to adhere to these birds and establish that crust. So we're just gonna keep this pit at 200 to 225, and I'll check back in with you guys in about 30 minutes. If you're serious about smoking meat, precision isn't optional, it's everything. That's why I use the ThermoPro Lightning, the fastest instant read thermometer I've tested. Sub 1 second read time, plus or minus 0.5 degrees Fahrenheit accuracy, as well as a backlit display that cuts through smoke and low light. It's built for real cooks, not just kitchen showpieces. Today, I'm smoking 2 chickens, pasture-raised and store-bought, but the real star is the Lightning. It reads instantly, so I'm not hovering with the lid open, bleeding heat. I get in, get the temp, and get out. That's how you keep your firebox consistent and your protein perfect. Whether you're working with pasture-raised cuts or store-bought birds, the Lightning gives you control. No guesswork, no overcooking, just clean, confident cooking. If you're still using a slow probe or relying on feel, it's time to upgrade. The ThermoPro Lightning isn't just fast, it's right every time. So if you want to grab one, and trust me, you do, click on that Amazon link I've shared in the description below and type in code FERMENT35 for 35% off your order of the original list price of $69.99. If you do the math, that brings the Lightning out to about $45, which is a tremendous deal. Amazon right now has it listed for $59.99, and the code won't work for that one. So you'll need to click on the original listing of $69.99 to make this deal work. Don't miss out. All right guys, so it's been 30 more minutes, total of about 2 hours of cook time. So now we're gonna check a temperature with our ThermoPro Lightning. You can see here that our ThermoPro Lightning is registering about 120 degrees Fahrenheit in each of these breasts, which is right exactly where we want it to be at this time. That skin is really drying out and tightening up. That black pepper and granulated garlic is really adhering to that crust, and you can see that orange and red color, which is indicative of good smoke flavor penetration into this meat. So now at this stage, guys, we're gonna bump the temp up to 325 degrees, which is gonna help crisp up that skin. I'm actually gonna reposition these birds so that they're in the same spot on the grates. Since my smoker runs a lot hotter towards the stack, I'm gonna move the 5 Acre Farm bird a little bit closer to the firebox so that these birds are in the same spot. The last thing I wanna do at this stage is incinerate these birds with this high heat. We're just gonna let this cook at 325 now to crisp up the skin, and our plan is to take these birds off when the breasts reach 160. All right, so in order to build this temp up to 325, all we gotta do is just get our fire and our coals broken down a little bit. We're just gonna start adding wood. That right there is a pretty good start. These splits are gonna ignite. We're gonna keep an eye on the temp.
All right, so we're at 325 with a good healthy fire. We've been cooking at 325 for about 30 minutes. Let's take a look. On the outside, these are looking about done. Once the breast hits 160 degrees, I'll pull them off to rest. Our store-bought bird is there already, so we'll remove it. The 5 Acre Farm bird is almost there. Remember, it's a bit bigger of a bird, so it makes sense that it'll take a bit longer. We'll move this chicken back closer to the stack where it's a bit hotter to help it finish up. Another 15 minutes and we'll see if we're there. Yep, just over 160, so we can take this guy off too and bring him in. I'll see you guys inside.
All right, so these chickens are off the smoker and we're gonna let them rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. Resting helps to redistribute all the juices, making every single bite juicy and tender. It's also gonna help carryover cook a little bit. As you recall, we took these off at about 160 on the breasts. Carryover cooking is gonna take that final temperature up to about 165 or maybe a little bit over, which is perfect for chicken breast. So while we're waiting for these to rest down, I'm gonna show you guys my secret sauce. This is herb-infused ghee, and this is gonna help further crisp up the skin and add a ton of flavor too. Ghee is basically clarified butter that has had all the milk solids and the lactose removed. So this is lactose free for people who are lactose intolerant. I made this ghee from scratch, and I also infused it with a ton of Italian parsley, garlic, rosemary, thyme, and sage. You can check out that recipe video next. We wanna get this melted down and boiling hot. So we're gonna get a pot over high heat, and we're gonna add a few spoonfuls of this ghee to the pot. And let it heat up until it's simmering, boiling hot. So now that these birds have rested for about 15 minutes and this ghee is bubbling, we're just gonna bring this ghee over and drizzle this over the breast side of the chicken, just like so. And as I add this, you can really see that skin crackle and crisp. Yep, just like that. Man, the smells in here are awesome. This is really good herbaceous, buttery, garlicky flavor that we're giving these birds here. That looks just about right to me. We're gonna slice in and see how these two compare. All right, so we're gonna start off with just our store-bought one. I like to start with the breast. We're gonna take our boning knife and we're gonna go straight down the midsection until we hit the breastbone. And then we're gonna curve our knife and work our way down along the rib cage. So we get that breast completely removed. Just firm, confident strokes with our knife here. We'll cut through the skin on the backside. This is our store-bought chicken breast. You can see it's just dripping with juice, just like we like it. Now we're gonna do the same thing with our pasture-raised bird. Exact same technique of getting this breast off of here. There's our 5-acre farm cut. Also just dripping with juices. That's gonna be delicious. All right, so we're gonna start off with our store-bought chicken breast. The grain of this breast runs lengthwise, and we always wanna make sure we slice against the grain. So we're gonna cut this direction. That's gonna give us the best texture to this meat. So we'll grab our slicing knife. We just go straight in. We wanna keep that skin intact, keep it on top of that breast. We'll give this a try. Cheers. It's got pretty good flavor. Skin's nice and crispy. Salt, pepper, garlic really comes through on this, and the smoke flavor is great. And we'll see how it stacks up against our 5-acre farm chicken. Here we go. Cheers, guys. So the flavor is almost identical, but the experience of eating this 5-acre farm chicken breast is just a lot more full. There's so much more depth of flavor to this. It's like chicken squared. There's definitely a noticeable difference in texture and juiciness on this one. It's got quite a bit more juiciness. I think it's because it has a higher fat content than the store-bought bird. It's just a richer, deeper flavor with really nice smoky complexity to it. That salt, pepper, garlic pops, but it doesn't overwhelm the chicken flavor. Yeah, I really just think that store-bought bird tastes a little bit blander and overall less juicy in comparison. That rub and that smoke works really great on both of these chicken breasts, but I definitely think the quality of the 5-acre farm bird just really shines through. Now we gotta try the dark meat. I'm more of a dark meat guy, so we're gonna test these legs side by side. So that's our store-bought bird. And this is our 5-acre farm bird. Store-bought dark meat definitely has more flavor than the store-bought white meat. It's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with that chicken leg. And my prediction is that this is gonna be the pinnacle chicken experience. Oh yeah. Dark meat just has so much more depth of flavor. It's also way more forgiving too. You can take dark meat all the way up to like 190 and it's still juicy. It's all because of that higher fat content. Absolutely incredible. So there you have it, folks. Smoking a pasture-raised chicken from a local farm really pays off in flavor and texture. But if you're on a budget, the store-bought bird does just fine as long as you smoke it with the right technique. Thank you to Acre Farm for supplying the bird for this video. Again, if you haven't already, go check out his channel that I've linked below. Check out all his content. He's killing it on YouTube. Subscribe, watch all his videos. Please go support your local chicken farmers. I'll see you guys next time.
And that is how we smoke a big old pasture-raised chicken at Fire and Ferment. If you like this type of content and you want to see more of it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click on that little bell icon so you don't miss any new content. I love you guys, and stick around.